Aaron, how's the weather today?
Weather's very cold today, James. Almost as cold as the song Hotarubi by Duran Gray. Let me talk about that for a moment.
Welcome to the Visual K podcast. I'm your host Frederick, also known as Whirling Black, and with me today, as usual, I have
Your co-host Alexi.
And I'm the editor, James, also known as Plant.
And for the first time, we have a returning guest. It's Aaron from our 1990 episode.
Yeah, boy.
How does it feel to be the first?
How was that for an intro?
Very good.
It was good. It was good.
Thanks.
Yeah. So. Damn it!
Fucking hell.
Wow, my whole like thought process fell off.
Your intro was so good.
I was trying to if you ever have a compulsion to cough and you try to stifle it so that you can space it out with silence, it's really hard to do because you're just cringing for 0.1 second.
Okay, so what I was going to say is, how does it feel to be the first guest to be allowed to come back?
It feels amazing. I'm honored, and I feel like all of our really dense, packed audience is going to be super excited. They're just it's like a recurring character in a sitcom. Yeah, maybe there's some cheering, maybe some clapping or something like that.
There we go.
That's a nice Freudian slip you just did there.
No, you gotta clap right there. It's an enthusiastic golf clap.
Oh, nice. So, sorry. Jesus, I'm so off. I totally went off track because this was way too funny. I'm not used to this. We're not supposed to have fun while recording this, guys.
Yeah, our intros are usually extremely dry, so this is we're all off track right now.
Yeah, usually we just handle it in 2 minutes and then move on. Yeah, so speaking of, random and fun things, you guys have anything that's happened lately you want to talk about? Heard something cool?
The new band with Kyo in it, where he's holding a dog.
Oh yeah, that's true. Kyo's new dog band. I didn't think about that even. That was a pretty big deal.
Petite Barbasan or whatever.
Yeah, I kind of wish he would have, had the dog as a co-vocalist in the band.
I know. I just commented on VKG to see if I could get them to credit the dog.
Because I think there was an old VA with Kisaki and his old bands, and there was this joke track that featured a dog on vocals. I think it was Rame from Vidal and a dog who were credited as vocalists. And it was just a dog barking. Maybe Kyo could do something like that.
Are you sure? Not just Joey?
Yeah, exactly. It was clever disguise. Yeah. But yes, that's pretty cool news. Also, there was a new Kisu single dropping today, which is sort of like the latest thing on my mind. I gave it one spin so far, and I have absolutely no impressions at all. So I'm not sure where to take that. Usually they blow me away, but this time I was quite bored.
I've listened it to a dozen times, and I've already seen everyone shitting on it, so I remain on a lonely park bench with my faves.
Maybe it will grow on me. I mean, one listen is usually not the end all of a song. Usually you need 10 listens at least until it settles. Kind of like Mass, if you remember.
I felt the exact same as I did in the first listen on the 10th listen of that. I don't even think I got to 10.
Aaron, did you hear the latest cassette album, Mass?
No, I've stopped even acknowledging Gazette's existence for a long time now, to be honest.
Oh, wow.
When we get the numbers for this episode where you see how long people kept listening, this is where there's a sharp decline.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to be like, oh, you know what? Fuck these guys.
Yeah.
Basically edit that out because that's just going to kill your ratings.
No, keep it in.
Just to be clear, it's only the opinion of the guest and it's not representative of the podcast as a whole.
We do not endorse anything that Aaron says on here.
No.
Actually, we hold him in deep contempt.
Yes.
I am held here against my will. I'm being made to speak on this podcast despite the hatred.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Despite the damage it will cause your professional career and personal life.
Yeah. So, well, I'm glad this is not a Gazette episode then. We're actually going to talk about, we're going to continue our Deering Grey Odyssey and do their second album, MACABRE. MACABRE? How do you say it? MACABRE? MACABRE?
MACABRE for cutie.
MACABRE?
Yeah, I mean, I always said just MACABRE, but I don't know. That's how you would say it in Sweden, I suppose, MACABRE.
Yeah, my instinctual pronunciation is also MACABRE.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe it's a Scandinavian thing. But yeah, so we're basically going to do like a deep dive into that album today, do some track-by-track analysis, the stuff all our fans are longing for.
Stoked.
Yeah, so, but before we go there, I kind of want to hear, Aaron, what are your credentials with Deering Grey?
My credentials?
Do you know anything about them?
Well, they were my first Visual Kei band, believe it or not, because this was the early 2000s and there was way more exposure to other bands from Japan at that time in the States. But I got introed to them because somebody was wearing a crazy avatar in a chat room and it was Kyo covered in blood. And I thought it was really cool. And so I don't think I would have gotten into Visual Kei if it wasn't for Kyo looking absolutely crazy and being like a amateur special effects artist. So I thought that was really cool. And I've been listening to him ever since like 2002. Huge fan, varying through different albums, of course.
Yeah, because I think you said when we were prepping this episode that this is actually not one of the albums you have listened to a lot previously.
It's not. Actually, this podcast kind of made me really take another look at it, and I like it a lot more now than I did back then. Back then, I was like, back then being before I was invited to the podcast. Yeah, my favorite Deering Grey albums were always like Gauze and Kiso and everything pre-Gauze and Ouroboros. I even liked Ouroboros more than I like Macabre, but now I feel like Macabre is up there with Ouroboros and close to Gauze now.
Yeah, maybe it's more of a mature effort.
It must be. Yeah, it took a little more listening to really get all the nuances.
You had to hit 30 before you learned to appreciate it.
Man, you gotta call out my age like that on the podcast. We got all these youngsters listening in, like
everyone's already like deleting their DMs.
Not only does he hate Gazette, but he's fucking 30.
I could censor your age if that would make you feel better.
Yeah, you can say like you can censor the part and just be like 30 bleep. Yeah.
Or just superimpose like James saying 22.
We did that with an ad. I think we were doing a rare set ad for an auction and like we recorded it and then they changed the dates. So I just put a robot voice over Alexi's voice saying the dates.
Well, Aaron is getting no dates after this show.
Zing.
Wow.
Nice. Yeah, it's kind of hard because the plan is to sort of tie it into the previous Deering Grey episode, and I realized now I probably should have listened back to it because it's been a while and I don't actually remember exactly how we left it off. But I think we left it off at the tour final of the Gauze album, like when they premiered the Miyaku song, which was like the first song from this single circuit of the MACABRE album. So I just thought we should kind of mention that before this album came out, they released 3 singles in pretty rapid succession, which was first the Miyaku single, and then the KR Cube single, and finally the Tayo no Ao single right before the album dropped. I believe those were kind of in close proximity of each other, the album and the last single. And I told Aaron right before recording about this, and he said he had never heard the B-sides on these singles, so he went to listen to them. Isn't that right?
I did, especially fond of the KR Cube Vomit mix. That was pretty solid.
I don't remember any of the remixes or anything, how any of them sound like. Like even a single Deer and Grey remix, I couldn't tell you what it sounds like.
They're mostly pretty forgettable. I don't know why. Maybe actually the Duran Gray remixes, I feel like they're cool if you want to put on in the background while you're playing like a first-person shooter or something, because they're very kind of just rhythmic and generic, like they blend in. And then every now and then you get like a sample of Kyo just singing something or making like screaming sounds.
Yeah, just some random yelling with reverb.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so like obviously the title tracks are a part of the album, so we will get to that. But do you guys have any impressions of Ash, Jealous Reverse, or Children that you want to share?
Ash is a classic. It's a good old favorite of mine.
Yeah, it's actually the song they have re-recorded the most amount of times, which is kind of a funny anecdote, I suppose.
Even they love it that much.
Yeah, I mean, first they did the 97 version, then they did the 98 version, which was on the first VHS PV tape. And then they did this version in 2001, and then they did the fourth version like 3 years ago or something like that for was it Ninga no Kaburu single?
Yeah, that one.
Nice.
Yeah, exactly. So it's been 4 recordings of this song, 4 different recordings of this song.
I think Metronomes beat them with Planet re-recordings, though.
Yes, I think so. I think Metronome even beats them with 5D Sanskrit as well, possibly. Yeah. And I mean, Jealous Reverse from KR Cube is also a neat song, but I prefer the original like rock version of Jealous. Jealous Reverse is a piano version of Jealous, basically.
Yeah, it was nice enough.
Yeah, and Children is like the most obscure B-side almost of all Deer and Grey songs, because no one remembers it except that it was re-recorded on the Six Ugly album. It's not a very good song, and you don't really have any reason to listen to it, so that's my ringing endorsement of Children. So that's basically just the sort of run up to the album. So should we just head right into the album, because we have a lot to discuss on there?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, sounds good. Let's just jump in.
Yeah, okay, so cue the first sample. I think this intro is actually one of their most interesting ones, because I think this might be the only occurrence of a song that's a combination of an intro and a song. Like it first opens up halfway as an intro and then sort of turns more into a song. I think Kirito Mayo possibly has that kind of vibe as well, but it doesn't have as long of an intro.
Yeah, Kirito Mayo also has sort of it's almost like an old school VK kind of intro where there's just like, it's like a door creaking and...
Yeah. Yeah, I think this one is very interesting also. You have the sort of like the pitch shifted chanting and sort of oriental instrumentation, which builds the mood really well.
Yep. Kyo's vocal melody at certain points was like, it sounded like a Brahms composition.
It is. It's the vocal melody is just ripped from the Fifth Hungarian Dance by Brahms.
That's what it was. I couldn't figure out which exact piece it was. I know the lyrics are in Russian too, I think.
Yeah, they are. It's just loosely picked words in Russian. There's no sentences.
Yeah, I think the fact that it's kind of like a half intro gives it this freedom to not even abide to the traditional song structure, right? So I was just thinking of this song, like kind of putting it into parts, and there's nothing like super unfamiliar about it. Everything could be like, as an individual thing, could be from Gauss, of some mode of Adam, but you put it in reverse. You add all these effects on top and Oriental sounds, and you have Kyo singing in Russian all of a sudden. Like if you just take the marching barrage drumming or like the guitar riff, it could be just like a few seconds from any Ghost track, but they're sort of stacked up in this way, and the fact that it doesn't really have like a traditional A B C B type of song structure, that's really representative of this album.
Yeah, I agree with you there that the individual segments are maybe not the revolutionary part of the song, but rather the sort of whole combined. I mean, because like you said, it's as a whole, I think this is a clear evolution from Gauze already in this intro.
Yeah, it's actually this song is kind of like to me it feels like the sound representation of the album's aesthetic, because there's a lot of Russian imagery and there's like Cyrillic writing on the sleeve art and all that stuff. So It feels like this was like them just being like, okay, this is our vibe. We're gonna just throw it out there right now. We could do all these heavy chuggy metal riffs and like all these spooky Russian melodies, and just get you primed basically. And it feels like sort of the album being represented.
It does set a very, very nice mood for the album, I have to say.
There's a lot of layering.
Mm-hmm.
Like it feels like there's like, I don't know, 3 or 4 different like vocal tracks on top of each other. So that kind of convoluted feeling is also reflected in the cover art, which you kind of have to start looking at it like, what the fuck is it even?
Yeah, it's one of my favorites. I used to have even 2 copies of it because I don't know why. I just wanted another one, but I sold it years ago. But I had 2 at one point.
Did any of your copies have the wooden beads?
Yeah, both of them.
Spine.
Both of them.
Nice.
Isn't that the only version though?
Yeah. It's the only real one. There's a Mia Records one from Taiwan which doesn't have it.
That must have been my copy, because I got mine secondhand and it had no beads.
Oh yeah. It's definitely a bootleg from Taiwan.
I'm sorry to inform you that you got ripped off all those years ago.
Maybe that's the problem. I had a bootleg copy and I just didn't want to like it.
It was burned straight from the 128 kilobits per second MP3 riff.
No.
How much did you pay for it? $40?
It was $20 at an anime convention.
Oh wow, you got
They're
robbed.
like, you should have been reported.
I think that today you wouldn't get away with selling things like that. Like it would probably be considered some kind of crime.
Yeah, exactly. Back then, it was like anything you can get is a good deal, because otherwise you got to import that. It's not going to be fun.
Because you couldn't find the MP3s online.
Exactly. Oh, I guess since we didn't talk much about the sort of just the album itself.
Yeah.
This is the first one, the first Duran Gray album that was apparently not included. Didn't include Yoshiki on the production. Like Japan's Yoshiki.
That's kind of true, but also not really true, because Yoshiki was only produced the 5 singles from Gauze. He wasn't the producer for the whole album.
Okay, that's true. Okay.
So he produced the 5 singles. The what was it? Yurameki-san, Akuru no Oka, Cage. No, Reison Datra is not a single.
Oh, I thought it was a single.
No. Cage and Yokan. Every single song on Gauze has a PV.
That's true. I love that album.
Yes, even the Mode Off has a PV, which we talked about extensively, the PS1 graphics.
Mode Off? You mean... Oh, yeah, actually, you know what? It is kind of like one PV, but sort of split, I guess.
Yeah.
Even Adam. James, what did you think of it?
This song?
Yeah.
I liked it. It starts off like a satanic ritual going on, and then like a heavy metal band shows up and really kicks things off. It's an interesting segmented song. Like after the ritual kind of segment changed over, I thought it was the next track actually, and I looked and I was like, oh, the same track.
Yeah, see, because if this was like modern Duran Gray, the track would end after that sort of like atmospheric chanting part, and then it would go straight into a new song, because that's how bands write their albums now. They always have the 1-minute intro and then it goes straight into a different song. It works really well as a song that hypes audiences as well. This is usually played early on in the set, sometimes even the first track. And then it's followed by the album title track, which is, this big epic song, which we'll get to later. So it kind of builds up the hype a lot. Like you have the like really rhythmic riff going on, so people can like, shake their fists like they do in Japan and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's really heavy. It's one of the heaviest tracks, I think. Just that riff and the blast drum beat. So it works good as like a hype man track.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
There's not many rules that it abides by. And although we're probably going to return to this later, but this was released in the year 2000. This was the time when there was still only old school Visual K. There wasn't that sort of new alternative rock, new metal type of thing. So
yeah, exactly.
The kind of the rule set was, well, the classic sound was still like developing, but like from that very same basis. This is the time when it feels like that sound is really ripe, and sort of the only way to bring it forward without changing it at its fundamentals is just to keep adding more effects, more crazy shit, and just keep bloating it up. And I gotta say that I wish we had more stuff like this.
I have to say I had the same analysis when I listened to this for the pod, because I was really trying hard to put myself into the perspective of the time, which I've gotten a better at appreciating than I was when I was younger. And I realized, that there was nothing that sounded like this in 2000. I mean, even Mook hadn't released their first mini album when this was out, for example. And, even the Alien Mariage new metal album was 1 year away.
Seminal release.
I would say one band, Perrow. Their Celluloid mini album is also like very produced and kind of slightly freeform in its structure in a weird way.
It does have the same sort of vibe, like the sort of vaguely Orientalist vibes as well.
And the kind of digital world thing, which will also reoccur on this album.
I think that might have played a factor whenever I was first exposed to this album, because Gauze is so consistent that this album feels a lot more experimental by comparison. Like, it's sort of all over the place. And I feel like it was hard for me to grasp onto the album as a whole. Instead, I was just like, yeah, Myaku's a badass song. Yeah, KR Cube's a badass song with a cool PV. And then that was it, With Gauze, it was like every song was kind of almost like they felt seamlessly connected, whereas this album is very experimental.
Yeah, I mean, I think I really see what you mean. Like, Gauze was sort of like this pinnacle of the 90s VK sound, and MACABRE is like the band trying to break new ground and forge their own individual identity within the genre, so to speak. Because even if Gauze is obviously what I think is one of the best albums of all time, it still sort of followed a lot of the Visual K tropes and stuff like that. And here they're sort of trying to implement ideas from other places as well.
Yeah, they didn't break much new ground with Gauze, really. I mean, Perrow as an example, Perrow was already doing stuff that was very similar to what was on Gauze, just with less, I say, extreme imagery, but sound-wise, for sure.
Should we move on?
Yeah, sure. Let's head on to the second track. Aaron, this is your song.
Oh, yeah. So track 2 is Myaku, composed by the band. I mean, every time I look at the credits, it says composed by Duran Gray, so I guess they all kind of pitched in on it. But this is easily my favorite song on the album, but it's also the one I've had the longest exposure of because I've just listened to it a million times. It's no surprise why it's my favorite, because it sounds the closest, in my opinion, to what they sounded like prior to this album. It feels very much just like polished Duran Gray up to this point. It's very, very VK, very hard rock alternative style, where it's just like bizarre with sort of gothy themes.
I would say I agree with that, and also what you said about it being similar to the previous era. I think the chorus especially is very gauzy.
Oh, extremely. The PV is like a spooky haunted corridor thing, and I remember watching that a million times. Like, I downloaded it on Kazaa. It was actually on Kazaa. A really low res version of the PV on Kazaa, and I just pull it up and watch it over and over again. It was just Kyo and the band being creepy, phasing through walls and stuff, which I think actually I looked up today the lyrics, not today, but recently looked up the lyrics for that song and finally translated them just to read them. And the PV is almost the lyrics 1-to-1. Like, they sort of, I'm sure they approached the director and was just like, we need to make a PV for this song, and it needs to basically have all this imagery in it. And it's just a little girl who's like abducted, but then she starts killing people. She like kills her abductors while Kyo is doing like hand gestures for some reason.
That's nice.
Very empowering. Exactly. Strong message, because he's doing like I don't know if you guys have watched Kyo back in this day, the things he would do with his hands.
Oh, absolutely.
He kind of like went over and over with the same gestures. He'd do like the window thing. And then he'd do the thing where he'd like point at his eyes and then follow the point, like his finger, while he turns his finger around. And I never knew what that meant, but back in the day I was like, that is so freaking cool. I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
It's like he's perplexed by his own hands. And It's really cool.
You know what it means?
What does it mean?
It means that I love Kiyoharu.
Oh,
yeah,
that's
exactly.
It. He's just copying
that is
Kyo.
what it means. That is actually quite accurate.
But yeah, it's for sure that like accordingly with the track's age in mind, it's the most recognizably Gauze era Darren Gray song for anyone that came into this in 2000s. The dueling guitars is Gauze staple, but it's slightly more jagged and angular than before. But maybe it's like Shinya's drumming that plays a part in that. The verse is so disorientating, and there's like an arrhythmia introducing until the chorus comes, and that kind of anchors everything into place, because it's that VK school of choruses that we know and love. Then there's these acoustic riffs, which are like a Gauze staple as well. A very haunting solo with like a kind of a regular riff behind it, and then a quick acoustic like sweep as the outro for the solo. There's so many different like sounds going on this album, these like small stops and starts, that you have to listen to it a bunch of times to even like recognize that they're there. Because if you listen to it once, everything is super seamless.
Yeah, but it's very jumpy. There's always layers.
There's just so much shit in there, yeah. And these small elements is what creates this kind of rich kaleidoscopic soundscape.
I want to add also that about the sort of like vaguely nauseating effect of the main riff. I think the thing is that they add an extra beat in some of the bars. I'm not an expert on time signatures, but when I checked some tabs for it, every other beat has an extra, every other, what's it called, segment is in 5/5 instead of 4/4.
Oh, that would make sense, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so they add some extra flair to it, which is not very common for Darren Gray. I don't think they experiment with time signatures much.
If you ask me, they don't even experiment anymore, but it's a controversial opinion, but hello.
They know where they are now. The Kyo has these other bands for experimenting. Darren Gray is, it's Kauto's project.
They discovered doom metal, and they're just comfortable now. They're set. They're comfy.
I think that's actually what I had on that one. James, do you have any impressions on this one?
I was going to say that it sounds sort of like the most typical Darren Gray song and more like their last album. And I thought that was going to be a really insightful and original comment, but I think literally every one of you have said the exact same thing. So I think everything I had to say is basically covered. I think I agree with all of you guys.
Yeah, because since this song actually premiered in like the Christmas Live or whenever it was in 99, this song must have been written like during the Gauze touring, so they were sort of immersed in those songs while they wrote this one, so it makes sense that it sounds quite similar to it.
Yep, it's sort of the transitional song between the two albums, I feel.
Yeah, exactly. I think they always have that kind of thing, like this awkward first single that sometimes can feel like a leftover from the previous album, like, Clever Sleazoid after Withering to Death and...
Yeah, even Kiso has songs that feel like a transition from Macabre.
Yeah, like Filth.
Yeah, Filth and Keloid Milk.
Yeah, I think both of those were on the Filth single, weren't they?
Yep, it's a good single.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. One of the first I bought, actually. Nice. But that's besides the point.
Well, other than that, no one's going to care about this, but for some reason, I've always really loved the instrumental intro to this song. For some reason, it sounds kind of like a cool video game with like a hard style techno beat, and I've never heard the full
intro
thing. To Myaku.
On the single version, you mean?
No, on the album. There's an instrumental. It's almost like a MIDI song that plays for like 30 seconds, and I used
on
to
the intro.
Yeah, from Myaku.
This one right here.
Is that the single version?
It's the single version that has it. The sort of
the album version doesn't have the little MIDI song?
It's the one on PV as well, right?
You're thinking about the sort of like this demented circus intro thing.
It sounds like a demented circus song.
Oh, I have the single version.
That.
Yeah, this, yeah.
It's super cool.
Yeah, I love this, actually.
Yeah.
This is such a VK-ism.
Yeah.
Like, also reminds me of Pierrot immediately.
Well, yeah, Perrow is like Mad Clown, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, and I always loved that. I actually thought that was on the album, but...
No, I think it wouldn't work in transition from Deity, probably. That's why they cut it for the album.
True. That's all I have to say.
Oh, but it was a good impasse, and also we got to play the weird sample from the single version. I think there's actually minor differences between all of the single versions of the 3 songs and the album versions, but this one is the most obvious one.
Okay.
Okay, let's move on to track 3, but first a quick word from our sponsor.
Hiya, VKPC listeners. I'm here to talk about... What am I here to talk about, guys?
Rareset.net?
Rareset.net. Have to find people at the... Don't laugh at me, goddamn. Have the fine people at the Visual K podcast ever led you astray? You can rest assured that the prices on Raresat.net are competitive with the street prices in Japan. So by buying from Raresat.net, you can save on all those import fees from when your shipment of weeb shit is being confiscated by the Border Patrol. Frederick.
Yeah?
What's happening this December?
This December?
This December.
I have no idea.
This December, Raresat.net is having the event of this Christmas, the Visual Blizzard, where they're adding new items to the shop every single day and having a giveaway every single week. That's free stuff, dude, and that means Raresat.net is treating me better than my parents ever did. So go follow them at Raresat on Twitter for more information. And remember, new customers at Raresat.net can use the promo code VKPC at checkout to get 10% off on their first order. Thank you for listening. Now back to the show.
Okay, let's move on to track 3.
So I think that this is like the perfect track to illustrate why the predominantly Western narrative of this band trying to create distance between Visual K and itself is nonsense. As everyone is probably already aware, the main melody from this song is lifted from Lunacy.
I knew it.
So like I said, like this album was released in 2000. This album is very, very informed by the classics. I think this, like Macabre, is like a schizophrenic interpretation of the romantic decadence from Kuroyume's Romance of Scarlet. Just start thinking of like the long, kind of quasi-oriental prince lying on a couch, drinking wine type of songs. And this, but played in a more like a medley way. Autism's depiction of mental disorder is a very, very obvious influence on Kyo and then also on this album.
Yeah, I think that's a fair analysis, but like you said, I think this is sort of like if that album was made in the year 2000, more like...
Yeah, and a band that liked different kind of stuff, and there's also already like almost 15 years of Visual K backlog where to go through. And kind of like I mentioned on the previous episodes that I'm pretty certain that these guys were listening to bands like Pantera. So you can already start bending all these typical genre signifiers as they felt like. And that's probably like the soundscape of this album is the result of that.
Yeah, I feel like they were less constricted by the very narrow Visual K canon, at least when they wrote this album, compared to their previous output. That the previous ones were sort of like almost more just building on a very narrow scape of what Visual K is.
I think they just got a lot more skilled. And
yeah,
one example of that is that Toshiya's bass on this entire album is fucking incredible. It feels like there's 3 lead guitars on this album.
It really does. Toshi just slays through this whole album. It's incredible.
Yeah, I have a note on one of the other songs that I wish the bass was a bit louder, actually. So I totally get that feeling.
We need like a remaster of Macabre with just Toshiya cranked up to 120.
Kind of like with that corn bass, like really just plonking, fucking
plunking loose cables.
You can't hear shit from behind it. Yeah.
This song is a good example of what we were talking about, how this album is kind of all over the place, because this is quite a tone shift from Myaku and Deity. It's very much just like an upbeat pop rock song, and it's very sort of accessible, actually. I feel like it's one of the more accessible songs on the album, and it was written by Dai, so...
Sorry, it was written by Lunacy.
It was written by Lunacy, featuring Dai.
See, I mean, in Japan, they have a different outlook on the whole rip-off and inspiration and things like that. Case in point, Griba never got sued, so...
That's true.
No, I mean, I'm not even saying that it's a problem. It's just more like, again, it illustrates this band's relationship with the Visual Kei canon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but ostensibly it's written by Dai. And I mean, it certainly sounds like a song that he would appreciate, because I feel like he usually brings this sort of more, I don't know, upbeat, a bit maybe playful sound to the table, whereas Kaurus is usually more like brooding and meandering.
Yeah, for sure.
By the way, just so you know that the lyrics are everything but upbeat.
Yeah, I was actually going to mention that. They're basically just like a song about a guy who is thinking about jumping from a window.
Yeah,
right?
because
he just wants to die because
lady person is not answering his text messages or some shit like.
Yeah, exactly. He's relatable. She hasn't answered his texts, and so he just wants to jump out the window.
Yeah, but see, that's pretty common actually in Visual Kei. Even when the music sounds a bit upbeat, the lyrics are about, I'm unhappy and I want to die, basically. Mm-hmm. I think that's basically like the Metronome discography as well. Like a lot of the songs sounds very happy, but the lyrics are about, existential crisis and things like that.
Oh yeah, that's like one of my favorite things about Shiraku's lyrics, and a lot of Visual Kei songs, where you've got like a really poppy, upbeat song sometimes, and the lyrics are just like devastating, like about suicide or something like that.
It's either I want to die or I want to be a robot.
Yeah.
Or I want to be an alien.
Yeah.
Or I am an alien.
Yeah. One thing I want to add about the song Vake is that the solo, I think, is amazing. It's so simple, but it's one of my favorite solos in this album, I would say. It's one of the first things I learned to play on the guitar, because it's such a super easy thing to play.
It's a beautiful solo, though. Also, I think it highlights how good the production on this album is. I realize some people don't like it, like they think it's thin or something, but for me, it's perfect.
Yeah, and also the thing I wanted to mention is that sometimes during concerts, Dai changes the solo, and that really irks me, because I want the solo to be like the way it's on album, but he's like, no, this is too simple, I have to add shit to the solo.
I want everything to stay the same.
Yeah, see, if you have a perfect solo, you don't really need to, add some extra bends or flares to it.
Well, Dai is just like, I'm the artist. I ripped off Lunacy. I should be able to do whatever I want.
Yeah, and I also love how the solo comes back at the end to make this sort of nice crescendo towards the very end of the track.
Hell yeah. Good track.
Did we get any James impressions on this one?
No, I was kind of, once again, you guys kind of...
stole everything.
Yeah. I do agree. I really like the bass on this track, and I kind of wish it was louder. On this track, and maybe some other ones too, it's like one of the only comments I have on there, like production, is like pump up the bass, yo.
Pump up the bass.
No, I agree with that, really. I think that this album would benefit from having like a 10%, 20% bass boost.
Bro, you can do that shit on iTunes.
Yeah, Macabre bass boosted.
That's true, yeah.
It's not the same results, it's a bit crude.
Could you imagine like your house rattling by maxing out Toshiya's bass line? And like, for example, the following song, the song after this, oh god.
Y'all, I can tell that
shake the whole house.
You had like LAN parties in the year 2005. Just put on Cascade, bass boost that shit, and you're ready to go. Where's the parents' liquor cabinet?
Yeah, I have a sort of funny anecdote about this song as well, because I really, really loved this growing up, and they played it live the first time in Europe in 2007 in Finland, and I was so jealous that I couldn't go.
Sad.
I remember afterwards, because I expected that, you know, they had just come on their 2007 tour to Sweden, and they played like the whole Marrow of a Bone album, like 4 songs or something from Withering to Death, and I think Obscure and The Third Empire. So I was expecting something like that, but instead in Helsinki they played like Vake, and they played Rasetsukoku, and they played
Cylinders.
yeah, 24 cylinders. So that was quite, you know, a regret moment of my youth when I missed out on that gig.
Well, I probably changed the solo anyway.
Yeah, that's right.
I think,
He skipped
yeah,
it.
I think he hadn't started doing that shit yet at
He
that
skipped
point.
it entirely. He's just like,
Yeah.
it gets to the solo and he just goes up to the mic and goes, nah, and then walks away.
Guitar breaks during the solo.
He just like opens a can of soda and takes a sip during the solo.
I think Dai exclusively drinks beer. I never saw him drink anything else.
Poor guy's dehydrated. No wonder he changes the solo. He can't remember.
He walks off stage to have the audience bleed him to come him back.
I think that's Kyo you're referring to there. Kyo 2009, walking off stage and having the audience sing the song for him. It happened. Look
I
it
was
up.
like, dude, I need a breather.
Yeah, to be fair, he had been sort of like messing up every song for the whole show, so I would probably have left the stage as well.
Now, if we followed that logic, I'd leave this podcast.
Yeah, halfway through every episode.
Yeah. Halfway through the introductions.
All right, let's move on to track number 5.
No, 4.
4, sorry, 4. Yes, 4.
That was, let me see if I can pronounce it backwards. Ignories Simradifi, an injection.
Oh, it's backwards. I was like, what does that
Yeah.
even mean?
Yeah, it's the title is spelled backwards on the album, so it's actually called Hypodermic Syringe an Injection.
Yeah.
James, don't feel bad. It took me like 10 years to notice.
I was like, what a weird title.
I've had people pronounce it to me like Ignorous.
Yeah, ignorous.
Yeah, I still do that.
I remember back in the day, there was this J-Rock website, back when we still called it J-Rock. It basically full of scans and, you know, lyric translation and all that. And the person who ran the website, she called herself Ignorous.
She must have missed the memo. But to be fair, in those days, I imagine information was not easy to get by, even in America.
Exactly. But yeah, title aside, amazing groove, killer bass line. This song is actually before I really latched onto this album fairly recently. I after listening to Gauze, this was the first song that really introduced Toshia's skill level for me, for sure, because I was just like, damn, it's almost like Primus. Primus-esque.
It's a great showcase of his skills.
For sure.
I don't know if this is a controversial take, but it's actually my favorite song of the album and one of my top Duran Gray songs of all time.
Ooh.
The instrumentation, the verse is just surreal. Like, everything is kind of melted out of shape or turned into the fucking Matrix code. How many stops and starts does this song have? Like, when it kind of like briefly like just like stop, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's the kind of pulling.
It's very staccato. It's like almost like, you know how sometimes bands will have like songs where they each get a solo and they all come out and do something flashy as they introduce each other. This song kind of feels like that, but like to the nines.
Yeah, and I like how this song opens up and it just kind of sounds like they're jamming before like they're about to play a song, and like they're just like taking their time to get into it. And the bass really shines on this track. Like, this is one where I don't have a complaint. I think the bass is featured well.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is actually the only track written by Toshia on this album, and it obviously shows very well that it's a bass-driven song. This is actually one of the songs that took the longest time for me to get into on this album. When I listened to this as a kid, like, well, not 20 years ago, but maybe 18 years ago, I really didn't like this because I thought it was too weird. It really didn't like stick with me because I was, coming fresh off of Gauze and that kind of straightforward VK songs. So I felt like, songs like KR Cube and those were more to my taste than this one. But these days I'm a really big fan of it. I wouldn't say it's my favorite by any stretch, but I really appreciate like how experimental it is and just how different of a VK track it is. And it's also that the ending segment of the song with like the bass breakdown and then the short rap section that follows with this ending where the song sort of opens up with the clean chords and stuff like that. It's really neat. Like just how it goes through so many phases in such a short amount of time.
Honestly, isn't this the most experimental that they ever were? I mean, you're kind of like hard pressed to even classify like what's even going on compared to like, I don't know, take the chugga chugga riff and then put some opera over it. Like, I don't mean to take shots on New Durango all the time because I love it as well, but it's, to me, like that stuff is like completely, I don't mean predictable in a bad way.
Yeah.
But it's totally obvious what it is. And this one, there's nothing that sounds like this.
Yes, I think that this is probably their most experimental. I mean, there was, periods of experimentation later in their career. You have like Doomspirosperra and stuff trying to experiment a bit, and Uroboros had some moments as well.
Yeah, I'll give it that. Like, Doomspirosperra is a very unique record, both in the discography and just like, I guess, in metalcore in general. But I believe a lot of that is because they come from Visual K, and that's so obvious in it.
Yeah, but this one certainly from their early years, this one stands out. Also, it's kind of interesting that this is one of the songs they spent the longest time not playing. They stopped playing this song in 2001. Immediately after the touring for this album ended, they stopped playing it, and they didn't play it again until the day I saw it live in 2017 in Kochi on Shikoku on the first day of the Mode of Macabre tour.
Sheesh.
And it was actually one of the big events for me because it's one of the 3 songs from this album where there were no proper live video of, because there was no DVD of this album, which is kind of unique as well. We will get into that, but because of that, this song as well as Barry and Audrey had no official live videos, so I didn't know what to expect at all from seeing it live. And it had a super cool like laser show and stuff going on, so I was very pleased. But what perplexed me the most is that there was still like some older fangirls in the audience who still knew like the Furi dances for this song. And I'm like, how? This song has been played for 16 years and there's no videos of this, so you have to have attended this tour like at least 16 years ago to know how to do these moves. Because Kyo wasn't doing the moves anymore himself. I mean, he had long stopped, but the audience still tried.
At least we know that there is someone out there in the world who appreciates our hipster opinion when even the band doesn't like the song. But here we're like, yeah, it's the best. It's the peak experimentation. This band, why they're so bad now, and everyone else is just like, fuck these guys.
I don't think the band hates this song. It might just be very difficult for them to play, or they just, maybe Toshia didn't feel like playing it since it's his song.
Or just, integrating it into the set itself can be too much.
Yeah, I think so.
That must have felt super cool, just being at the show and not expecting a song that hasn't been played for, 16 years?
Oh, I was absolutely expecting it because it was the Mode of Macabre tour, so they were going to play every song from the album. You were like,
okay.
But it was more like the experience of actually seeing it live with my eyes, because there had never been a video of it, The other songs I had seen YouTube vids or DVDs of previously, but this one I didn't know what to expect. It would have been really interesting if it was just a random gig and they decided to bring this one out, like I don't know, just playing some Europe tour or something, and then in between, the latest singles, they just tack this one in the middle.
Play a little Ignorez.
Yeah.
Dang. I don't know if this is a weird take or not, but if there's anyone here that listens to early Baroque, the VK band Baroque, a lot of their early stuff is inspired clearly by this song because it's very much a similar kind of vibe. Like Akira from Baroque had been doing songs that sounded like Ignorez for a while, just cleaned up. It has a similar groove and sort of a bouncy funkiness to it. Whenever I heard Ignorez just recently, I was like, damn, this sounds like almost like a way better blueprint for what Baroque was trying to do early on. And then basically all the Osare K bands that came after copied that. So they probably don't even know the origins.
Yeah, their early stuff kind of does sound like that. Baroque definitely took a different direction, though. Eventually, like, they got a lot more electronic.
Mm-hmm. And then poppy. Poppy.
Because isn't Baroque sort of one of those bands people hail as the sort of prototypical Osare band?
They definitely popularized the modern version of it, for sure. Because it was like, there were, kind of Osare adjacent bands in the 90s and all that stuff. But Baroque kind of brought about that new super trendy style. And the music that they had was very much just kind of like funk rock inspired. Had a lot of heavy bass lines and almost like circusy melodies. You know those circusy melodies. They're all over VK.
That's true, actually.
Indeed, we already had the circus intro to Miyaku just like a little while ago.
I know. We can't escape it.
Yeah, that's very true. Should we move on to the next track?
Yeah, I'm done with that.
I love this song. I think this is one of my favorite tracks on the album, and I love how it starts out with like dial-up sounds or like just glitchy electronics, and it gets really heavy. And then it takes a break to do like a church choir in the middle.
It's like a Gregorian chant out of nowhere for no reason.
Yeah, exactly. Then it goes right back into the heavy stuff. It has a bizarre song structure, and I think it's one of the most interesting tracks on this album.
I could just imagine you at home, like finally there's some electronics and you're like, this is great.
Yes. I appreciated it. Yeah,
finally some real music.
It's got to have dial-up sounds to be real music.
I have to say, though, I think this is, they're taking extreme liberties with this track. I mean, I clocked it, and that atmospheric chanting interlude is 1 minute long.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you have to actually sit there through the Gregorian chant after just you're like rocking out to some heavy electronic metal, and they expected you to just go, I'm digging this. This is good.
Yeah, when I first listened to it, I thought it switched to the next track, and I was like, oh, okay, it's another kind of bizarre track. And then it goes right back into it, and I'm like, oh, wait, this is the same song. It's very similar to the first track on the album.
Yeah.
I feel like it was made for a live setting. Especially, you can imagine they turn off the lights or something during the chanting or something, and then they get back into it, and all the girls are just like swinging their heads off. Super, super strange. Just like DT. That chanting part, though, I'm a huge fan of it.
Yeah, it's great.
There is a risk when something like that lasts for as long as it does. But then again, this album is 73 minutes long, and the final quarter of an hour is ballads.
Yeah.
There is no rule book for how they did this album.
They took risks.
Yeah, I was also going to mention that I feel like this song sort of thematically ties in very well with Deity. Maybe it's because of the chanting and all that, but I think also just in the general instrumentation as well, like the metal chords and stuff are kind of similar in some ways to Deity.
Yeah, they're both very heavy tracks.
Yeah, but I think I see why this was one of the only, the only song along with Rasetsu Koku that they didn't play the original version of on the Mode of Macabre tour, because I kind of see that this interlude maybe, takes up a lot of set time that they want to use for something else. there's a remake version of Macabre as well, but they choose to play the old version. And I mean, it's a very neat thing, but I cynically think it's because they wanted to save 6 minutes of playtime so they could, go home earlier instead.
Or that they could play Sustain the Untruth.
Oh yeah, of course they could play Sustain the Untruth like an extra time just for the fans. But yeah, basically my takeaway from this song is that it sort of has this interesting flow, which we mentioned, and also the sort of unique mood to it in general. It's got this, like I said, the feeling is very similar to Deity. It gives me some strange sort of almost religious vibes in some places.
Now, unlike Deity, this one's actually credited to Kaoru, so I guess he was just messing around in the studio going ham. He was just like, guys, just play on this, trust me. There's Gregorian chants in the middle. Just trust me on this. The fans are going to love it.
Yeah, can you imagine him sitting down at the computer doing the electric stuff, though?
I kind of can. I can imagine it.
Who composed Rasetsukok?
Oh, that was the band, Duran Gray.
Okay, but what does that even mean?
It means everybody contributed, I guess.
Yeah, in these days, the band usually meant Kaoru came up with the idea and then other people added things to the process.
Yeah, because I mean, as someone who's very familiar with songwriting in a group, it's almost always one person doing most of the work with everybody basically pitching in enough so that like if you removed their contributions, it wouldn't be the same song. That's usually when you credit the band.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my experience also.
Oh, before we move on from Hydra, I want to mention the lyrics are some of the most emotional on the album. I'm not sure. I was almost unsure if I was being lied to when I looked them up. Here are the lyrics. I want to be an anarchist, Sid Vicious, suspicious. That's it.
No, that's not
everything. There's more.
Oh, you left that one out.
Oh yeah, we left off the.
I do want to be an anarchist. I am suspicious.
Oh, you missed the part, the Deathborn part.
Deathborn?
That's what he's screaming when he's doing the screaming part, Deathborn.
So he's like a dead baby who wants to be a punk rocker.
Yeah, no, he wants to be an anarchist. Didn't you get the lyrics?
But he said Sid Vicious.
Yeah, but Sid Vicious is suspicious, remember?
Oh, you're right. He's actually anti-Sid Vicious.
Yeah, he doesn't...
Sid
He's
Vicious
actually
is
like,
sus.
so he wants to be an anarchist, but he's hooked up with Sid Vicious, and he's like, I don't know about this dude. I'm starting to have some regrets.
He's into true anarchy. He's like, Sid Vicious is sus.
He's a poser. No, but actually I agree, the lyrics are hilarious. I wonder if that's also a reason why they choose to play the new version, because that one actually has proper lyrics and stuff like that. And I think Hydra 666 is not a bad song. I mean, I would love to see this version live, the original version, but I don't mind the remake.
I wonder how much of it can be performed, because a lot of it's electronic. So would they don't have a DJ, they just hit play.
Oh, they do. They have
They
do have a DJ. It's like the one who at least they have a person who handles all the piano and stuff like that. It's Takumi from Sukekyo.
Oh, that's right.
He's at all of their live shows.
And they have a malfunctioning laptop, which they bring to concerts.
Yeah,
in Europe.
exactly. In Europe, they replaced Takumi with a malfunctioning laptop. Yeah, that's why it works so well.
Ruined many a concert.
Yeah, when we get there, I have to talk about the disaster concert in London I went to when, the sound broke 3 times. And the band walked off stage and then had to rewrite their entire set list to play only songs that didn't require any playback or effects.
Oh, no.
It was great, though. They played some songs they hadn't played in years because they needed to play songs that didn't have any effects. So they played shit like C and stuff like that, which is pretty rare.
Well, that's cool, because then it was probably more raw. There was no, backing tracks or anything.
Yeah, absolutely. And all of the audience were super hyped. Like, the whole audience was like one big mosh. It was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, there was this background graphic going on, and I do recall seeing some Windows Media Player tier thing appear at one point. And I'm like, you know what, you could probably do without all that.
No, the Cure face cam is very important. So he has to, drool on it.
No, the face cam is fucking amazing. That was the best part of the show.
But that's the thing that broke.
Oh, okay. Oh, well,
One of the things that broke. I mean, everything broke. Yeah, tangent, but it's Deering Gray, so that's to be expected. Normally we have tangents about Deering Gray when the episode is not even about Deering Gray, so...
Yeah, even in the Dorian Gray episodes, we talk about Dorian Gray. It's awful.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
Hey everyone, this episode turned out to be quite long, so we figured we'd split it into 2 parts to avoid production delays.
stay tuned for the exciting conclusion next time on the Visual Kei podcast. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Tell your friends about the show. And sayonara.